Hi guys, I'm Clinton with the Barbecue Pit Stop. Today we're gonna do everyone's favorite cut, brisket. We're gonna do a very simple cook today. What we're gonna do is slightly trim this up. We're not gonna go real deep into this decal part. We're just gonna do a real quick trim, something that everybody can do. The goal of this video is to make sure that anybody can cook a brisket and cook a good brisket. Probably our most requested recipe that we have. It's also our most requested cut of meat, and people get scared of it. It's a big cut. It takes a while. Sometimes it gets pretty expensive. So we're gonna show you how to do one quick and easy. First thing we're gonna do is cut off this little part here on the side. We're not gonna take a lot off the back. Everybody asks that question. The reason we don't is if it's already nice and flat, like this one is, there's no point of taking more off than you have to or trimming up more than you really have to trim up. So all we're trying to do right now is to make this look good. Now we're gonna work on this taller point. This is actually called the point. We're not gonna trim this up for burn ends. Again, we're gonna make this as simple as possible. So we're gonna take just a little bit of this fat off the sides. Just expose a little bit more. You don't wanna take too much off. All right, that's looking good. Next, we're going to just even out this real thick, heavy part of fat. It's called the decal. We're not gonna go deep into it. We're just evening it out. Next, you have a lot of fat in silver tin on the top of your flat. We're going to very quickly just kind of skim that off real fast, expose as much of this protein as we can. It helps if you put your hand underneath it, lift it up just a little bit. Having a sharp knife sure does help. Allows you to just skim over the top. Go with the grain on this. Try not to go against the grain. If you go against the grain, you tend to dig into it. That's not what we're trying to accomplish here. You just want to skim this top just a little bit. All right. Any little blemishes that you might have, any little pieces that you might have on here still, gonna get covered up by the rub. All right, looks pretty good for a real quick trim. I can feel that this side over here is kind of tilting up a little bit. So now we're gonna flip it over and we're just gonna skim a little bit off of this side. We're not gonna touch this. We're just gonna skim just a little off of this side, even it out. And you can see how it's thin fat and then it gets real thick fat right here. And we're just going to take a little bit of that off. Start up here, get a little bite. Try to stay as even as possible. You're just evening it out. Nice and flat, nice and flat. All right. And it's sitting a little bit better for us. Okay, we're gonna use Texas pepper jelly brisket rub. Used to be known as Craig's, but they changed it a little bit, and that's all right. I'm gonna do a nice thick coat on here. I don't use a bonder. You can on these. A lot of people are using olive oil or mustard. You don't need to. I don't use it. If you did, great. It doesn't really matter. All it's doing is making this rub stick to this protein. But we're gonna put this on, and then we're gonna go and put it in the fridge for a few hours before we put it on for it to smoke. Put it all over wherever you pulled some of that fat off. This is a coarser grind, but it sticks real well. That's it on the prep. Now we're going to just put it in our fridge, let it sit for a few hours before we put it on the smoker. Well, we let our brisket rest in the fridge for a little bit. With that rub on it, we're allowing it to pull out just a little bit of moisture. It will create a great bark doing that. Today we're going to cook on the Timberline XL at 225 degrees. So all we need to do right now is take it out of our pan, throw it on our smoker. We're gonna leave this here until it hits 165 degrees. And that's it. All right, guys, we've had our brisket cooking at 225 for about 8 hours. We're sitting between 165 and 170 now, so it's time to wrap it. Tonight, we're going to wrap it in the Cosmos Brisket Mop. We're gonna do a very easy wrap. We're gonna put it in a double pan. And we're using Cosmos. It's 2 parts unsalted beef broth to 1 part of the Cosmos Brisket Mop. And you just gently pour it over the top. That's looking good. Then you grab your foil, wrap the pan. Very quick, very simple wrap. There you go. Put it right back on. And now we're gonna increase the temperature to 250 degrees. There we go. We're gonna leave it at 250 until the internal temperature is between 200 and 205. All right, guys, it's been a few hours. We're gonna check this brisket, see where it's at. You want it somewhere between 200 and 205. But what we're gonna check that's more important than the temperature is the tenderness. Woo! Oh, that's looking good. So we're gonna, ooh, that's going in just like butter. It's not a lot of resistance. Let's see where it's at temperature-wise. We're at 203. Okay, we're gonna get this thing rewrapped. We're gonna go throw it in a Cambro or in a cooler. We're gonna let it rest for about an hour, maybe 2 hours, and then we'll slice into it. Okay, guys, this is the finished product. It's taken us about 13 hours. 8 hours at 225 degrees, another 3 hours at 250 degrees, and 2 hours of resting. It's time to finally slice into this thing and see how it tastes. It looks fantastic. You guys can't smell it, but it smells phenomenal. We're just gonna start, cut this little corner off, take a look. We have a pretty dang good smoke ring going on here, and then we're gonna just take a couple of slices from this middle part. I like these end pieces a little bit. Pretty moist. Let's see how it tastes. Oh, that bark is fantastic. This is a very simple brisket. There's not a lot to it. Minimal trimming, minimal effort, maximum flavor. Try this brisket yourselves. You're really gonna like it.